Hello, and welcome to Trail Chats. I'm your host, Autumn King. Today, we'll be trekking and chatting with Fire Marshal Felicia Bryant from Oakland Fire Department. Come along with us as we heat up these trails. About Felicia. Where does your Oakland story begin?
My story begins in Oakland. I'll say my immediate family all resides in Oakland. I have a very close-knit family. We were all within 5 to 10 minutes from each other.
So growing up the entire time?
The entire time. I could get to my family's house in like less than 10 minutes. I used to take the bus down MacArthur Boulevard just to get to my grandmother's house, or walk down 103rd to get to my other grandmother's house. So everything about me is Oakland.
Why do you choose to work here in Oakland?
Because it's home and it's where family is. So I'm a firefighter. I started as a firefighter with the city of Oakland. And one of the things that inspired me most was my great-grandfather was one of the first Blacks hired for the city of Oakland. And he's actually acknowledged in the Oakland Museum. There is a picture of him on one of the older engines that we used to use. And my mother used to take us there all the time as kids. Like, hey, this is your family, this is your history, so we can have a sense of pride and commitment and dedication to the city that we live in. And it was something that really inspired her in the sense of, I want my kids to do well in this city. I want my kids to thrive in the city of Oakland. So it was a strong foundation. And then my grandfather was actually OPD officer. He was a bicycle cop. So we have some history in the city when it comes to civil service. And growing up, I was like, this is cool. How can I be a part of it? So early on, I kind of knew I wanted to go into the fire service or in the space of helping people.
You answered my question. I was going to ask you, when did that feeling of civil servant get placed inside your being? Clearly, it runs in the veins, clearly. When was that moment for you when you knew civil service is calling me?
I think when I felt the pride that came with what my family had done, my grandparents, just feeling connected to what they had done and knowing that they wanted to keep the city safe. I think I come from a family of servants. And I say that because my grandmother was a pastor, my father was a minister, again, the civil servant side, and my mom, like, you can't find her not being busy helping someone else. So it's just like, it's in our blood, it's in my DNA. And the fire service was a good connect for me because the other thing that my parents instilled in us was physical health, like being physically healthy. And I'm like, okay, how can I merge the two, and still be in the city of Oakland? So,
well, tell us about your role. You are the fire marshal. Is it the fire marshal? Or are you the only one?
I'm the only
fire marshal. So I've got questions about that. I want to know, what does a fire marshal do? What is your everyday looking like? And then I want to get into some questions. No, not at all. Hi. So tell me, what does a fire marshal do?
So fire marshal, we are responsible for maintaining the California Fire Code. It's basically our laws and regulations. It is our laws and regulation in maintaining fire safety for different types of businesses, whether they're industrial businesses, schools, some homes in their new construction phase, assemblies, hospitals, jails.
So, are you the sign on the wall that says, at this club, no more than 500 people?
That is me.
Okay. And how does that work? How do you assess different areas? Is that based on your training when you were serving as a firefighter? Mm-hmm. Is that something that you've gone back to school for? Tell me a little bit about how you became a fire marshal.
So the training that you get for a firefighter is different than that you would have for a fire marshal.
Okay.
I was about the preventative side. So being a firefighter, being a company officer and an engineer, one of the things that I realized is that we're on scene, the emergency already happened. And it's devastating for most people because that's the worst day of their lives, as we typically say. Like, you're meeting people on what could be the worst day of their lives, right? So I'm all about preventative. How can we get to the point where we're not there, where we're not meeting them? How can we reduce our risk and our calls so that our community can feel safe? So that inspired me to start looking into the prevention route. So I went and got training for that through the State Fire Marshal's office and some of the other national organizations that offer training to be a fire marshal. And I had someone, a former fire marshal, who was like, you need to take these classes, you need to take these classes. I'm like, I'm not there yet. And he was like, but when you are there, you want the position can be ready. So stay ready so you don't have to get ready was kind of what he was teaching me early on. And I'm happy that I did, because when the position opened up, I was the only one who was able to really apply for it, knowing I had all the current certs and, meet the qualifications. And then doors just kept opening up, opportunities kept opening up, and I just walked in.
Have you always been just with Oakland Fire Department?
Yes, I have.
Sounds like you've had some good mentorship.
I have, and that's why I'm here, though, Autumn, because I strongly believe that I know I didn't get here on my own. I know that someone left the door open for me to get there. I'm a part of the International Association of Black Firefighters and the Oakland Black Firefighters Association. And we have this saying, all I am, I owe, I live eternally in the red.
Tell me that one more time.
All I am, I owe, I live eternally in the red.
Okay.
Meaning that my debt is never paid. So I took that not only from my professional career to just how I live. Like, I am here to make sure that someone else could get in behind me. I'm creating opportunities. And that's the best part about me serving in this position right now. A lot of people are inspired about me being in it because I'm the first woman to serve in the role for the city of Oakland.
That's amazing.
Yes. What's important to me is the job that I do. And when I got promoted, it was in the news. It was in different spaces, and I appreciate the attention behind it, but that's not why I'm doing the job. Like, what matters to me and what conversations I want people to have is, what changes did she do? How did she make the city of Oakland better? And there's so many spaces I can tap into to do that, but that's what matters to me most.
And you just happen to be a Black woman doing the job.
Yes.
I love the idea that your excellence, your intelligence, your dedication, your commitment is what leads. And you happen to be a Black female. And it does need to be said. I think that it's warranted, given what our society goes through with marginalized groups, women and Black women and people of color. So kudos to you for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
A little bit of a tougher question. Was it challenging? Did you find that being a woman, being a Black woman, were there challenges in rising in the ranks at OFD?
Yes and no. Oakland Fire Department is unique compared to other departments in that there are enough women that have made waves and created change within the service where the men aren't totally surprised by what we do. So again, that's those who came before me paving the way that I honor. And the answer, yes, because I took the path that was not expected. They didn't expect me to become a firefighter, to a engineer, a company officer, and then go to fire marshal, because there are some ranks in between that others were probably like, that's not how we do it. But my story is my story. How I get there is my path, and it's purpose driven. And so I made sure that I allowed myself to be comfortable in knowing this is by purpose and design. And with my faith being what it is, I knew that, okay, you could be upset, but I'm not. And when you're here, either you support me or you're not. And if you aren't, then let me ask you, why are you here? Because I have a job to do.
We are out here. That's a great segue for what we've been doing. You and I have been chatting and walking. When you first pulled in, you were talking about how there was so much going on, and it was first thing in the morning. We started out early this morning, and you were already going.
Yes.
We walked for a little bit, and we took breath. Mm-hmm. We were able to bring ourselves down. There was a calm. We've smiled at people on the trail. Talk to me about your mental and emotional health, and how do you maintain your mental and emotional health?
So I have this, saying that I always whisper to myself, relax your shoulders. Because if I relax my shoulders, then I can sit up tall and I can breathe better. And so I find myself oftentimes wanting to be tense, but I just have to relax and look at the moment for what it is. And I do accredit my training as a firefighter and being able to do that because of the emergencies that we face. We can't always be tense and uptight. we have to allow ourselves to relax so we can see the full scope of what's going on, so we know how to respond. So as far as my mental health, again, like, I am a person of faith. I believe in prayer. I spend time meditating. I spend time writing and being out here. Like, I am a nature person. That's probably, the mosquitoes know me.
They
like,
love you.
They're like, hey, she's back. Let's get a little bit of that
Kicking it,
blood.
right.
Because this is where I find peace. And the best part about it is the early morning, like that smell, the pines, the fresh air, less pollution, So I just live in these moments and I allow myself to enjoy them. My screens on my computers, they're all of nature. Because if I get I look at it, I take a deep breath and I can relax.
What about the physical side? You talked a little bit earlier about firefighting and how that was very physical for you. How do you maintain your physical health now?
I work out. I make myself work out. Even if I do, like I said, either meditation or yoga, restorative yoga, or I get on the bike. I'm trying to train right now for a half marathon. So I just find ways to reignite my energy and make sure that I stay in tune with my health, because there was a period where I was like, am I having chest pains or am I feeling stress in new areas that I've never felt? And I'm like, no, I got to check this, because I have 2 daughters and I cannot allow my life to be cut short because I let stress get in the way of it.
That is very true. Is there a way that you blend all of that, your mental, emotional, physical health, and how you're approaching your job? Mm-hmm. Is there a way that you move that information and that being into your everyday work at OFD?
How I start my day is how I feel my day will end. Like, if I start it rushed, then it's going to go rushed. So I really try to I wake up early. I'm an early riser. I ease into my mornings, go to work, ease into my drive, allow myself to connect with where I'm at for that day. And then when I get to work, I just start tackling my calendar and my priorities. And sometimes it doesn't always go the way I want to, but I do try to control it. And I check in with my staff too, honestly. That has to be a constant part of my job, because a happy staff makes my job easier, because they're the ones doing the work. I'm just directing and leading,
right.
Like orchestrating, like, this is what we need to get done, but I have to check into them because their mental health matters to me as well. So it's a revolving door of how, I check into it, not only for me, but for them.
Should we do some more walking?
Yes.
I want to keep talking to you. I have so many more questions for you. I really want to get into the day, what you're doing, how OFD is. I just have a kabillion questions for you now. So I'd love it if we can walk some.
Yes.
Let's do it. What are your hopes and desires for the city of Oakland?
I would love for Oakland to know that the people who are serving it, especially people like me in fire safety, first desires to keep them safe. Oakland deserves to feel like their home is just as good as the home in the neighboring cities. That people are working to keep them safe because we care about you. We care about your families. We care about your well-beings. We want to make sure that you're not displaced into a position that you can no longer afford to live here. Like, all of those things matter to me. And I work hard, not only with the things that I do daily, but with my staff to make sure they understand, like, you came to work and I thank you because you care enough to make sure that your neighbor feels safe while they're in this city.
That's a good feeling. What does the future look like for OFD and for Fire Marshal Felicia Bryant? What does the future look like?
It's pretty bright. There's a lot of opportunities within Oakland Fire for me to continue to progress and possibly achieve other positions. But right now, I just want to focus on being the best fire marshal that I can. There are many themes that run across my head, and one of them is I don't want to waste my opportunity. This is my shot. Let me make it count. Let me do it right, and make sure that when I do walk out, hopefully either through retirement or promotion or whatever may be next for me, that I left something where people can feel like a change was made, we feel the difference, and this is what we need to continue to push forward and not let it be stopped or hindered.
Is there anything else that you want our community to know about Oakland Fire Department, about positions of women in fire, about anything relating to what we've been chatting about today?
Yeah, most people don't know, but Oakland Fire is community-based. Everything we do is about the community, whether it's from the chief's office when he goes out to community events, my office where we're doing public education services, our dispatch who responds to the calls that are coming in and how they really care about every caller that comes in and how we can best help them. Our emergency management service who prepares for natural disasters that we are prone to get into the Bay Area. And more importantly, our firefighters and fire inspectors, like everyone cares about the community. We all come to work because we know we want to keep Oakland safe. And hopefully our community knows that when you call, Oakland responds. We don't delay our response. We work hard in making sure that we meet our commitment to keeping them safe and letting them know we're here to serve you.
Thanks for chatting with me. Can we keep walking?
Yes, we can.
Despite the mosquitoes.
Of course.
Did you all used to use these trails at all for
training?
Yeah.
So there's some spaces where we do a lot of our training for vegetation fires.
Okay.
Where we learn how to use the tools, pulling lines, creating safe spaces of work. So we have been doing a lot of that work in actually a lot of the East Oakland Hills, for example, just because, we always have to be ready.